Welcome to AI Unscripted with Dan and Eric, where they uncover the exciting world of artificial intelligence. In this episode, Voices of Innovation, join Dan Brown and Eric Carey as they discuss quick updates on three key AI platforms: Gamma's latest enhancements for business presentations, 11 Labs' new intuitive tools for creators, and Inquest AI's advancements in data analysis. Explore how these developments are paving new paths in technology, enhancing user experiences, and expanding the capabilities of AI. Here's your hosts, Eric Carey and Dan Brown.
Welcome back, everybody, to episode 8 of AI Unscripted with Dan and Eric. I'm Eric Carey. I'm here with Dan Brown, and we are going today to be talking about some different AI trends that came down the line with 11 Labs having some pretty good updates with voice recordings and enhancing videos with AI. And along with Gamma, we've featured Gamma in a previous episode. They've had significant updates since the last time we talked about them. So definitely looking forward to highlighting those tools, and then also just talking about the weekly AI news. So I'm excited to go ahead and get started. Let's get this going. All right, Dan, we've had a really good kind of summer break, and we've taken to kind of do vacation times and work things and all the above. So it's kind of nice to kind of be back and talking about AI stuff again. You and I have been continuing to communicate with each other with different tools that keep popping up, and there's been so many things of my brain is spinning of what we could talk about and how we could talk about it. So I'm definitely glad to go ahead and get started. How have you been, and what are your thoughts on the AI world right now?
Yeah, no, it's we had a nice break. It's good to be back. You know, it's even though the AI world is moving so quickly, I kind of feel like stuff has happened, but up until this week, I feel like the major thing this week was with Meta dropping the Llama 3 405 billion, which is a really large model, open source model. And that was like, they had done Llama 3, the smaller models, and then this one is basically GPT-4 level open source. So like the gap between open source and the models that are currently the closed source models like OpenAI and Claude that are the best ones that are currently out there has like narrowed. Now, they could drop GPT-5, tomorrow, but so I think that's super exciting. Other than that, it's like now I've gotten used to so much AI stuff coming out, but now it's like, okay, unless it's this huge breakthrough or huge new model or something like that, it's kind of, I've been desensitized. So there's been some cool stuff, but I also don't feel like it has been that crazy busy while we took the time off. So,
Yeah.
So that's good.
I agree. I think one of the best things about every time that there's new Llama news that comes out is Zuckerberg he makes his rounds, and then every time it's like a whole different person that's coming out, and like than it was the time before. He just got like a different persona. He's changing. So I've enjoyed watching some of his interviews because he's getting so you can tell the passion is there for this. He's really got you can tell he lives and breathes it every day, and he has a lot of excitement for it. My understanding is I've not had a chance to play around with it. Maybe you have, but it seems like it's overwhelmingly everybody, as critic wise, everybody's pretty happy about it.
Yeah, I think when you open source that big of a model, that people are going to be really happy because the developers are going to be super happy because no one else is doing this and it costs a lot of money. So you kind of they're laying the foundation for developers to build on top of these models. So I think it's easy to make people happy when you're doing that type of stuff. Now, if this was a closed source model, I don't think anyone would care because there's already a few models that are out there like this, but those you can't build off of in the same ways. So yeah, and it looks like he's kind of changing his persona. I think it's like he's trying to be more cool and everything. But think the open source stuff is helping them, at least
That's
in
what it
the
seems
AI
like.
world.
I was trying to see if I could find it real quick and share it. And there was a YouTuber on here that had really good, a very good, put together a really good summary of a lot of that's happening with the Llama release. And I was going to see if I could find it and share it with us. But once I find it here in a second, I'll try to see if I can do. But, when it comes to they're pushing the envelope consistently, which, like you said, we've been talking about the potential of ChatGPT 5 and what it's going to do and what it's going to look like. But I feel like that we should. I feel like we're like 2 months past of where we should be with GPT-5. I felt like we would have already had it by this point. And maybe it's just me rushing it. Maybe that's the new, what we've said, where the technology used to go so fast, and now it's kind of going slow, or not slow, but we're used to it going so fast now. It's like it seems like it's slow for the release out.
So like, so my guess what's going on right now, and I think this is shown by like GPT or ChatGPT recently came out with like GPT 4.0 and 4.0 mini. And this 4.0 mini is basically a smaller model, but they're saying it's, as good as GPT-4. And not to get into the weeds, but when you use it via the API, I don't believe it's the same. However, it's still pretty good. But the thing is, the GPT 4.0 mini for them allows them to offer what they're calling GPT-4, which I still don't think it's the best model, and like the original GPT-4. But what they're doing is it allows them to not use as much computing power. And I think their problem right now is that they can't release a GPT. They can't even release the voice, GPT-4 that the original one that they showed us. It's like they haven't released that, and I think that takes a lot more computing power. And so it's almost like that's the limitation I think they have is there's not enough computing power between them using massive clusters of computing to train new models, and then also they have all these existing customers, right? And so I think that's like a balance that they're trying to strike, so that when they bring these things out, it just doesn't like break down their system. Because that seems to be like the case all the time, right? Like right when ChatGPT 3.5 came out, it was like always down. And so I think that's some weird balance going on in the background.
Yeah, like, and that's where but that's what I don't understand is their AI voice creators so much more sophisticated than the rest? Because why is it that the rest is able to do it and release? Because even now, I don't know if you noticed, but like when we were using Riverside to record this podcast, and I noticed right off the bat, because it has access to your and I's recordings, it immediately gave me the option to do an AI voice recording as soon as I logged on here, and it took it 2 minutes to process it, and it was good to go. And it was actually kind of scary how accurate it was. And that's just with that. And then so you have 11 labs. So I wonder what it is from the OpenAI standpoint of what is it they're worried about? Like, what is it? What I mean, is it the computing power? But even then, I don't know. Maybe you have a better understanding than I do.
Well, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing one, it is computing power. Two, you'll notice that like when you talk to these, if you just you could talk to the version now and it will talk back. And people, what they didn't like about it, this is the version before they mentioned 4.0, and the one you can still use right now, if you put the little headphones button on, is that sometimes the model it doesn't talk back in real time. There's this lag, and it doesn't have the same experience, where the one they demoed had this great experience. And so you need to have it be super fast, right? And it needs to, like, you can interject, and then so I think that just is, so I don't think it's the, translating or understanding, what we're saying. That's not the issue. I just think it's like you need this super fast connection, and the model needs to go really fast instead of just like, just giving you a bunch of like paragraphs of stuff. It's like going back, it's like really rapidly going back and forth. So it's just like a different process. But, and then one thing I also did notice is that, when they did their demo for that, they had it plugged in as if it looked like a charging cord, but they're like, oh no, this is so we make sure like we keep our really good internet. And even in that demo, it was kind of going in and out. So it seemed maybe half baked, but you also remember like that new model is taking in video. Like, remember, like you could show it, you were FaceTiming with it, and it would like process your, be like, oh yeah, like that hat looks goofy, or it was looking at your homework. So all of a sudden you're talking about a bunch of data. It's not just text in, it's video in. And so and then they're also training like their Sora models, and they're doing all these different things. And I have a feeling computing power is the biggest problem. And it's almost one of these things where, you know, I kind of predict that Google and these other companies are gonna be able to go out because they have less people using their product and make this work faster for a smaller group of people. And then maybe they get that chunk of people that it's almost like they can deliver it because they don't actually have so many people just churning out on their site every day, just like a bunch of stuff. Like a lot of people are using ChatGPT, but I used to be completely wrong on this.
Well, you know, I did, as we were talking, I found that good little montage of it's from Fireship. They're pretty. They got 3.2 million subscribers on YouTube. And I found it where they're showing Zuckerberg and kind of like I'm gonna show it. It's got some decent humor in this, so I feel like we need to laugh in this. So let's see. All right, I'm gonna share.
When Mark Zuckerberg isn't wake surfing wearing a tuxedo and a puka shell necklace at his Lake Tahoe mansion, crushing Coors Yellow Bellies and waving the American flag, he clocks into work with a sunburn to battle Google and OpenAI for artificial intelligence supremacy. Yesterday, Meta released its biggest and baddest large language model ever, which also happens to be free and arguably open source. It took months to train on 16,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs, which likely cost hundreds of millions of dollars and used enough electricity to power a small country. But the end result is a massive 405 billion parameter model with a 128,000 token context length, which according to benchmarks is mostly superior to OpenAI's GPT-4o and even beats Claude 3.5 Sonnet on some key benchmarks. But benchmarks lie, and the only way to find out if a new model is any good is to vibe with it. In today's video, we'll try out Llama 3.1 Heavy and find out if it actually doesn't suck like most Meta products. It is July 20th.
I mean, so we can continue watching that video where they go into a little bit more. It's only 4 minutes total, so but I kind of like how their spin on that and how they look at that is very, very well clever.
Yeah. So one interesting thing on there is they said that they use 16,000 H100s to do that model, to build that model and train it. And Elon Musk just announced that he has 100,000 H100s that he's now training a model on. Okay.
Wow.
So, you know, the difference between 16,000 and 100,000, right? So it's going to be interesting to see these scaling laws that we talked about, like, and
well, especially because it's wars against billionaires, right? And so it's like, look at my 16,000, which they were saying, look how good this is, and then you have another billionaire coming in saying, nope, I got 100,000. So it's just constant back and forth. I like it.
Well, I mean, as long as like we get access to these models, right? And
exactly.
So yeah, I think that's gonna be super interesting to see, because it just seems like the more computing power you give it, and you just gotta give it data, and it's kind of like, yeah, there is maybe a little bit of secret sauce, but so Elon should have an amazing, but also I think Microsoft, they you know, Elon announced how much he has. Microsoft or Meta announced how many, you know, H100s used, but I don't think Microsoft, is telling anybody how many they're using. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft has a training cluster that's much larger.
Yeah.
And they're just not saying it. You know what I mean? So like Elon saying, oh, it's the largest one in the world, but I would argue probably Microsoft is making a large one, because, you know, we showed that video last time of I can't remember the name of their like CTO, but he's talking about how, you know, it's, you know, they had the shark, like the beluga or the whale, or you know what I mean? They had their three. Yeah. So we're going to quickly see like how far the scaling laws go. Like if they keep going, and then that's going to be super interesting. They all are saying that there's multiple more cycles that this will go. And like every year or year, 1 to 1.5 years, we're going to have like these major new models come out. So
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let's see if they show a little bit more. It's actually a really good video. So one second, let's see.
24th, 2024, and you're watching The Code Report. AI hype has died down a lot recently, and it's been almost a week since I've mentioned it in a video, which I'm extremely proud of. But Llama 3.1 is a model that cannot be ignored. It comes in 3 sizes, 8B, 70B, and 405B, where B refers to billions of parameters, or the variables that the model can use to make predictions. In general, more parameters can capture more complex patterns, but more parameters doesn't always mean that the model is better. GPT-4 has been rumored to have over 1 trillion parameters, but we don't really know the true numbers from companies like OpenAI and Anthropic. The cool thing about Llama is that it's open source. Well, kind of. You can make money off of it as long as your app doesn't have 700 million monthly active users, in which case you need to request a license from Meta. What's not open source is the training data, which might include your blog, your GitHub repos, all your Facebook posts from 2006, and maybe even your WhatsApp messages. What's interesting is that we can take a look at the actual code used to train this model, which is only 300 lines of Python and PyTorch, along with a library called Fairscale to distribute training across multiple GPUs.
What's interesting, we'll stop for a moment. What's interesting is that I like the little clause they have in there. I mean, even though 700 million active followers or whatever seems like crazy, but at what point can they change that to 1 million? You know?
Well, that's just so like Apple can't use it, Google can't use it. They don't want, they're not trying to give this to their main competitors.
So that's their key in there. It makes sense.
Well, I guess they have to get a license. So then they were saying, yeah, no problem. You can pay us. So, okay. So,
which is what they've had to do to Apple and Amazon and all the above to have access to their stuff, their servers.
Because in theory, Azure, Microsoft, Google, they can host this model on their cloud because they can download the model.
Yeah.
Because it's an open model. And then they could serve this to me or you if we want to infer with it, if we want to talk to it, and then we pay them per token, right? And so I think what they're saying is like, if you want to resell our product and make money off of it, like you can pay us. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So there's probably some other stuff in there where it's like, if it's another company, if one of their main competitors, I mean, who else has 700 million active users? It's just like, I don't know. It's like a few companies.
Yeah.
So I think it's just more of like a small technicality, but to me, this is the model that's going to help you train other models. And now that with synthetic data, like this, imagine this being this workhorse that you can use to create. It's model creator. So it's like a robot to make more models for you for specific tasks. And I believe that this has been given to the developer community, so the United States can be number one, in the world.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the internet. It's like if they didn't do it, someone else would do it. It's almost like in order for the United States to be number one with AI, not that another country cannot use this, you need to give them the tools necessary to do it. And this is arguably one of the most important tools in the moment because it allows us not just to be so reliant on a few companies, and then it creates a lot of competition.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Because that's going to be the key is making sure that we continue in the United States have the upper hand on this. Let's watch the
use. It's a relatively simple decoder-only transformer, as opposed to the mixture of experts approach used in a lot of other big models, like its biggest open-source rival, Mixtral. Most importantly, though, the model weights are open, and that's a huge win for developers building AI-powered apps. And now you don't have to pay a bunch of money to use the GPT-4 API, and instead can self-host your own model and pay a cloud provider a bunch of money to rent some GPUs. The big model would not be cheap to self-host. I used Llama to download it and use it locally, but the weights weigh 230 gigabytes, and even with an RTX 4090, I wasn't able to ride this Llama. The good news, though, is that you can try it for free on platforms like Meta.ai or platforms like Grok or NVIDIA's Playground. Now, the initial feedback from random weirdos on the internet is that Big Llama is somewhat disappointing, while the smaller llamas are quite impressive. But the real power of Llama is that it can be fine-tuned with custom data. And in the near future, we'll have some amazing uncensored fine-tuned models like Dolphin. My favorite test for new LLMs is to ask it to build a Svelte 5 web application with runes. balloons, which is a new yet to be released feature. The only model I've seen do this correctly in a single shot is Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and Llama 405B failed pretty miserably and seems to have no awareness of this feature. Overall, though, it is pretty decent at coding, but still clearly behind Claude. I also
So, it's interesting too, because, you and I have been talking about, you were bringing up Claude earlier.
Yeah.
And, it's impressive that that's.
Well, and I don't know if we went over this. So Claude 3.5 Sonnet is like Sonnet's the mid-level, like the medium-size model for Claude, and previously their larger model they don't have 3.5 out. For Opus is their larger model, they just have 3.5 Sonnet's amazing at coding. I use it almost now all the time for a lot of stuff. I still use Gemini 1.5 Pro for like really big things and uploading videos and stuff. But Claude, so I actually don't even use ChatGPT 4 that often. I actually think they've downgraded the product so much in order to try to meet demands for computing, and that's why I just noticed the product like degrade, and they just try to make, and it's you can know this if you use it a lot, whereas everyday people like who are not using it that often won't notice it. But that's why my theory is that they need to reduce their computing consumption in order to bring out the new models. Claude 3.5 Sonnet has these really cool things called artifacts, and it's kind of like UI. We covered UI Uizard or whatever, and it was where that tool where like you could type in something and it would make a UI. Well, now they have made this like into the product of Sonnet. So when you're on ChatGPT and you have Code Interpreter, it shows you the code. Well, now there's this button you can press where it takes the code and then shows you what it looks like all in one UI, and then you could share it via link to someone else. And this is one of the ones I shared to you, and then just play with it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a shared conversation of just the UI. And then you can press the bottom right-hand corner, remix it, and you can change that, right? So you can say, hey, you know what? I want to add another component to this graph. And so I think this is super cool. And actually, we're going to be incorporating these into Inquest AI, so you'll be able to see these artifacts, find the ones you want, and then you can click on it and remix them. And so it's super exciting. And at the moment, you don't have to have a paid for account to play with these. Like you can play with it for free. You just get kind of metered at a certain point.
What industry do you think, like we have a business industry, do you think these type of artifacts can significantly help?
I mean, I would imagine, see, like a lot of, goes back to like the imagination is the limitation to a lot of AI, right? Because it can do so many things. We're still just discovering what it can do. That's what's so amazing about this product is that, like there's never a product that you put on the market and like the marketing team is not overselling. They put this out and it's kind of like we are discovering new things all the time. It's like electricity, right? It's just going to be in everything. And so I would argue this kind of touches anything that's you want to build a custom UI for, to just, I think I've seen people upload like their sales data, and then it'll create like this customized sales data dashboard where they can mess with their sales, do forecasts, they can do a lot of things. And then right now you cannot hook up an API to it. So once you can do that, then it gets really interesting. Yeah. So it's, it's essentially wherever you have lots of data, you can now have these custom, but then also people are creating Rubik's cubes, and you can play with the Rubik's cube. You could, it's new. There's a lot of cool stuff, but the point is like you now can just type, hey, create it. You can even take a screenshot of something and say, hey, can you make this into a dashboard? And then I'm going to give you an Excel sheet. And then I want you to feed that in, and then I want to be able to play around with this, and it'll give you the code, and then you can just like keep iterating on it, and then you can share it with your team.
Just completely 100% random what I'm about to bring up here, but one of the coolest things, and this is something that's simple, mind blowing to me is that, you know, those Where's Waldo books, like where you have to find Waldo, right?
Yeah.
And then there's many different versions for kids now. There's different Minecraft or, Roblox or whatever. Well, my kid has a Minecraft kind of Where's Waldo type book where you have to find the certain things in the book on the page. And we were like towards the last, and it was one of the most difficult ones. And we were searching forever trying to find this one, and I could not find it. Like, I mean, I couldn't, like, it was bedtime. It's time to like close the book, go to bed. I was like, I can't, like, this is driving me nuts. I need to know where this thing's at. And so I was like, let me try it. So I took a picture, uploaded it to Chat GPT, and I took a picture of the instructions of what the characters it was looking for.
Yeah.
And then I took a picture of the page. I uploaded two things. And that sucker had them found, and it told you exactly where to go on the page within, 4 seconds of it being there. And once I saw that, like, I was at that point is when I realized that if you're able to upload, like, the Google or the Google glasses and stuff like that, if you were to have powered behind something that you could see live, like, can you imagine? Like, because that's something simple, but that just blows my mind.
Meta is doing that right now. So the Meta Ray-Ban partnership sunglasses. My dad actually has a pair. I borrowed them. They're it's pretty cool. And so they're not just developing all these models for themselves. I mean, sorry, for other people, like open source. They're also doing it for themselves. And the question is, at what point do they stop open sourcing it? I think that there might be something there, but would be really nice about this. It's not multimodal. That's the thing, and so that's another thing to mention. It's that I forgot to mention earlier, but yeah, with the wearables and augmented reality, virtual reality, all of this stuff is just I still, when I talk to people, like, a lot of people have no idea how good this stuff is. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know. And it's like, it's just, I've never seen a technological leap so fast. And I know we've talked about it before, but it just still boggles my mind.
And the thing too is that they don't. And again, I know we it's like we talk about the same thing over and over sometimes, but it's like they still don't understand. They still don't understand of how it works sometimes. Like, it still baffles them, And so I was going to try to see if I could
it's a tsunami.
Upload this picture and see how fast it pulls up. It literally, now that we have the share screen feature, it makes life a lot easier to be able to do that. But I love it. But anyway, I'm not going to waste our time on this. Also, kind of back up a little bit. You're talking about your Inquest AI. I was looking at your website. And you came. Let's see if I can share it. You have, like, I'm loving your new format that you had you've had it for about almost 2 months now, I guess. But
the new UI.
I'm liking it.
Yeah.
You have so you still have that. So you see, you got the challenges on here now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking it.
Yes, like right. Yeah, if you scroll down a little bit to the first off, on the left-hand side, you could press the little button to expand that right there. And then you can kind of scroll up or down on the page, or you can kind of just go to press challenges, and it's going to bring you to all those. But yeah, we have we've got open models. Here actually right there. See where it says image generation on the one of those big blue cards?
Yeah.
Right there. Click on that. And this is a model that you can use right on our site, and type in, like, and you're not even logged in right now, so you can still do this for free. So type in, I don't know, man on the moon with sunglasses, staring at the sun or something. I don't know, make something up. And you can actually use this for free. And this is an open source model. So now we're allowing you to find open source models and use them directly on our site. There's other ones there too. There's, a YouTube video, like, you can put in the link and it'll convert all of the transcript. You can, we're trying to bring basic tools to you that are free, open source. So that's part of what we have on there. We have all these video tutorials now also, where we put like really good YouTube videos up there so you can learn about some of this stuff. And yeah, we have challenges that ideally, people can host challenges on our site, can take challenges, private groups. We got a bunch of GPTs. We have over 50,000 shared conversations. So it's exciting. Yeah. And the coolest thing too is like you can have your own builder profile or AI builder profile. So if you wanted to find mine, maybe, I don't know. Well, actually, if you scroll down, there's the community videos, right? So you can there are YouTube videos that I think are really, useful.
Yeah.
And these are all just previews, because then you can click on this on see more, or the check out more for each one of these, and you have a full thing. And then up top, it's all searchable at Google, right?
Yeah.
And so the whole purpose of the site is that we help you find people that are similar to you, whether your career interests, and you can see how they're using AI and follow them and subscribe to them like you would on social media. And in that custom feed section, that custom feed section is when you're logged in, you paste you have to paste your LinkedIn profile.
Mm-hmm.
And when you paste your LinkedIn profile, we'll go find your publicly your job, your interests and everything. And then we'll give you a customized feed of like AI tools that we think are relevant to you, conversations that are relevant to you. And these conversations are the step-by-step guide to learning how someone else accomplished some task, right? Using AI.
Yeah.
And so it's really exciting. Yeah. I didn't know you were going to bring this up, but thanks.
Yeah. This is AI Unscripted. What are you talking about? There's no way you could have known what I'm going to bring up in this one.
So
I'm trying to log in now. Just trying to get my security code that's being sent to my email.
Cool.
So
yeah.
Let's see. All right.
Awesome. Yeah. So when you are logged in,
so now I'm going to refresh and see if it'll be all there now, I think. All right. So now I can go to custom feed. You said,
and then if you go to paste in your LinkedIn profile link, like the hyperlink.
Okay.
And if you have that, and then it will basically pop everything up. So, are you grabbing it?
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can I'm trying to do like these different tabs here, and then
So yeah, the continuous learning journey that I think we're all about to go on needs a platform where you can see AI solutions across all the major models. So if there's first time people listening, you can import conversations, AI tools from all the major models like ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, and others via shareable links, which are very similar to Google Doc links. Like when you share a Google Doc, you can share a link, someone can click on that link and see the Google Doc.
That's awesome.
And so we allow you to import all that, and we create this unified AI experience where you can see all of these AI interactions, and it's searchable like Google. So now your custom feed is in there. And I don't know exactly what you have on your LinkedIn.
Not much
publicly,
but there's some.
But this is now what we kind of like is curated based upon those
That's
things,
awesome.
right? So obviously you have some stuff about like your business and AI.
Yeah, because with Sphere AI, it's got that stuff, and I've done some good old freelancing and stuff like that on there.
Yep. So I see that you have not uploaded your picture, so you got to do that.
Listen to me.
So here, do one thing.
To be honest with you, I told you like many episodes ago that I was going to upload some songs, and that I expected to get the the insider leg up, and I've not seen any winning or any medals being given to me for the song challenge. So I'm just saying, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So
you uploaded songs?
Yes, I put stuff. I'll see if it shows it up here. Like, I think I did some. I did. I know I've done it. Now, maybe I've logged into a different. Maybe maybe I used a different email address from my other account that I had in yours.
One thing, so I can show off the profile. So can you go type in, I'm trying to think of like, type in patents or something up top.
I'm looking
And
for my.
that way, if you go back to the dashboard and just go into the search, and I want it so you can find like one of my conversations.
Yes. 1 second. I was going to see if I got this email because I know this account that I have. And let's see. And we're going to get it. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe
We can do that one later. But I just want to show one.
All right. So you said patent, right?
Yeah. Just type in patent because I think I had a conversation about patents, and there's not a lot about patents right now. I don't think on there. So okay, cool. Now click on my profile there because I'm on both of those are my conversations. And this is what I think is really cool is like, this is my AI builder profile, right?
Yeah.
You can see chatbots that I've shared, created. There's challenges, some music, and my conversations. And I think this is like the AI portfolio that's unified. So you could show what you're doing that's relevant and cool across all these different platforms.
That's it.
And so
I knew I had one on here. I used just a different one.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah.
Yes. Look at all those back in the day.
Nice.
I had music on here, I'm telling you. Yeah, to help Bob. I know I did another one too. This is the one my son created, and he absolutely, and it was amazing. I thought it was the most. You know what? Just because
I remember you sharing this one. Yeah.
The big fly sniffing girl.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Nope, it will let me. Hang on, let's see. The remix it.
I should be able to do on that one.
Of course, I went to the one part of the song where it's nothing playing in it. Anyway, we're not gonna go. But anybody that's watching this, you need to go listen to Help Bob because my 11-year-old son.
And they can go remix it if they want to remix that song. They just press that remix button. It brings you to Suno. You can change it, and then you can upload. And on the right-hand side, all the remixes show up.
See,
so that's how you remix the music.
I feel like the last time I played around on your site, I feel like it was not long ago. This is like significantly improved since the last time I played on it.
Oh yeah, this is new UI. This is like in the past month. So actually go to the music too, or actually go back to the dashboard. Let me just so we can show people.
Yeah.
Also, so dashboard, and then just scroll down to the music. All right, where's that?
I may have.
You know what? Music? I think. Do you still have something? Okay, yeah. Click on one of those songs there. Click on the stone one, the one that was up top. Because I don't think anyone's remixed this one yet.
Which one?
It was the first one up. Or actually,
maybe I went too far.
I think you still have like a search here. Just go back to the dashboard.
Stone right here.
Yeah, and just click on one of those songs right there.
Okay.
So
now
these are
all the different remixed versions of it?
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so this is a really popular song. You'll see that this one's got like
my friend, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's been a while without thinking.
So you can basically
it's so
you press
crazy
the
that,
remix.
That's AI. It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, and if you press the remix button on the bottom right, that brings you to Suno, right? So that's where it brings you back to where this originally was created by somebody. You can remix it and then bring that link back and paste it into the import remix button.
Yeah.
And boom, we take care of the rest, right? So like our site, you just paste in links and we bring in those AI conversations, the AI custom GPTs. Soon will be the gems from, Google Gems, which are custom GPTs from Gemini. Claude has Claude projects now, which are very similar to custom GPTs. So all of a sudden you have like, if you're working with a team or organization or a business and everyone's using different models, but you want one place where you can all share how you're using AI and make it all visually appear in one place, not having to send screenshots, not having to, you know, take pictures or sorry, print PDFs or whatever. Like that's that unified AI experience where you can show all this stuff. And then also, I think getting a job in the future it's what are your current, like, what experience do you have? What's your background? What are you good at? Plus, what are you doing with AI and what are your AI abilities, which would then equal really what you can provide that organization or business, right? Similar to if you try to get a job right now and you don't use the internet, you don't have a computer, people, you know what I mean? Like you're very much limiting you because these are all tools. So you can be the smartest person in the world, but if you refuse to use the internet, you're going to not be that smart versus the person who is, pretty competent and uses the internet.
Yeah.
And so I think that everyone should have an AI builder profile. All this stuff we're showing you is free. It's free to sign up, free to use. We do have private groups. In private groups, you can have 1 or 2 private groups for free. But then if you want a bunch of private groups, you pay a few dollars per month. But our whole purpose is we want people to share publicly these things so people can learn from each other. And I feel like the peer-to-peer learning is the best way to stay up to date, right? So start following people that are similar to you, put in your LinkedIn profile, will help build that custom, to start showing you content that's relevant to you, which then you can start following those people. So yeah, I didn't mean to spend like 20 minutes on that, but
what are you talking about?
brought it up.
The whole point of this show is to highlight AI tools, and you have one of the best sites out there that highlights AI tools and puts it all together and starts a conversation about it. So I think it's important to highlight it for sure. Because like even with mine, so it's like with my with Sphere AI, like I started off with same thoughts once out of it. It just with mine, it was still working full time and family stuff and all that stuff. It was just hard to keep it going and different thoughts of how I was going to do things. So, but yeah, no, I love it. You're doing a great job with that, and I'm very impressed.
Thanks, man. A lot of working hard on it.
Yes.
So, yeah, Claude artifacts are coming soon, so you can find the UIs that you like, and then you don't have to start them from scratch. Also, it just kind of like you were saying earlier, you're like, hey, what do you think? What industry will be most affected by these? Just being able to make these UIs very quickly. And I'm like, you know what? I can't wait until we have that implemented because I want to visualize a lot of these artifacts in one place so I can see it, right? And so like that's building this because like I'm so curious about this stuff too. It's like I want to see all of these UIs that everyone's creating, and then I want to search them. So it's by making the functionality for my site, actually it allows me to be like, what are people building with this, and what's the coolest ones? And then I'm going to be like, cool, I'm going to like start remixing some of these and using them. And it's the power of the crowd, right? You see this all the time with YouTube, with all different social media. It's like trying to figure stuff out on your own is like, yeah, you can figure some stuff out, but it's so amazing to see what is the crowd doing, and like crowd learning from each other, and peer-to-peer learning is why learn in a silo?
And once you can, I was thinking, obviously there's things we could talk about, outside of having an episode on during our part, but like if you could also think of a way to capture, of how things are moving, how the conversations are moving in a almost like how you would do it in like a factory setting or whatever, where you look at where the trends are going, almost kind of like when Twitter was developed originally. It was like looking at where the trends are in regions and in certain levels of what's popular here, what's not. And if you could do the same thing with with the conversations, obviously the more people you have having a conversation, the better. And your tool that you have, your website, your creation could be used significantly in the tech world to show of where the trends are, where the pulse is, where the current tech pulse in the AI world is.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many possibilities, and and if we can help people say, hey, this is how other people like you are utilizing AI to be more efficient, Like, not only we're teaching you, but we're also pointing you in the right direction so that you can learn quickly, stay ahead, and, still do your day job, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like all of a sudden everyone's got to go back to school type thing. But then it's not like the old school where you get a degree and you're done. This is like, oh yeah, no, that's going to change in a month, and then it's going to change again, and it's going to change again, and so there should be a gamified, fun way, and I'm hoping that people find our platform to be that fun way to learn, where it's like it's enjoyable,
Yeah.
because you're getting results and you're seeing stuff relevant to you, and then ideally you're it's giving you efficiencies, and especially for the creators out there, like you're ideally helping people like start businesses, start doing things they never thought they could do, learning how to code, like learn like all of these things that these models allow us to do. We just have to learn how to do it, right?
Yeah. And because you look at all these other companies, like they're spending all their time and effort. We highlighted, and we're just going to talk about it again more in a minute, but we highlighted Gamma in the past. And Gamma you can see by watching all their promo videos and researching their website and all the above, that's a small team that has a lot of passion behind their product. And so you have all these groups of people out there, large and small, putting forth all this effort and passion behind their one AI tool or whatever the scenario is. And the good thing about your website is that you can take that passion that each of these people have and not only highlight their tools, but also bring people into the conversation about their tools. And I think that makes a big difference, because a lot of good ideas go unnoticed and can get swept right under the rug and forgotten about. And so I think it's important to kind of get the message out there about your site, because, and this is not a plug, we did not talk about this at all, this is a genuinely 100% thought, is I think it's a good thing, because you want to be able to have people to be successful in creating something that is a big deal. I mean, I feel like I've had a lot of good ideas over the years that I just didn't know how to promote it or didn't know how to do it and whatever, that could have been successful. But I like your tool, and I like the fact that you can highlight all that stuff.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. And like, I think that we are living in the era where the ideas that people had in their living rooms, at the dinner table, at a bar, around a fire with friends, where they're like, man, I wish, we should do this. But then the next day they wake up, go to work, and they can't do it because, it's like, hey, they have $15,000 to create that app or whatever. And now it's like, oh, yeah, you can go do that, and it's going to cost you maybe a few hours of your time. So that's what's so cool. We're the age of the creator. And I think that more and more people are going to start creating some really cool stuff. I want to be a platform that helps people promote that on one end, and then on the other end, people define that, right, and use that tool, because not everyone's going to want to be the creator. Some people, and it's a journey. Maybe you start as finding some cool stuff, and you're like, oh, it's really cool, I really want to augment this and make my own. And it's just this like constant cycle of like innovation. But in the Gammas, the world, that really awesome, that's very cool. They have a lot of funding, but I also just believe like these models are like, we're one model away from GBTs having their breakthrough moment. And so I tweeted out yesterday something like custom GPTs, it's as if they're at, like a GPT-2 level, meaning when GPT-2 was out, no one was talking about it. I didn't know about it. Like, very few people were talking about it. It wasn't until ChatGPT 3.5 came out that it lit the world on fire. It wasn't ChatGPT 3, and it wasn't any of the ones before. And you could have had people be like, oh, you know what? It's not that good. It's too expensive. And all of a sudden 3.5 happened. Boom. Everything changed. And I believe that the base foundation model, the ChatGPT 5 model that's going to be coming out, or even the 4.5 model, whatever, that's going to allow custom GPTs to have their moment, right? That when it's going to be like going from, ChatGPT 3 to 3.5, it just took the model getting a little bit better to set the world on fire. And custom GPTs, to me, are going to be just agents, custom agent GPTs, essentially, right? Because they're gonna have instructions, but then they go do things for you. And then and you chain them together. And so like we are just on the verge, I think, of like so cool and of stuff. Like there's people hacking together amazing stuff at night on the weekends and being like, hey, everybody, try it out, right? And I want our platform to be the place where they can share it, and then people can see how it's being used, and maybe they can then launch the whole company and be the next Gamma, and then get funding to do it. So that's the world ideally we're going towards.
Yeah.
In whether it's my platform or somebody else's, but the point is it's a ladder that people can climb. Versus right now, I feel like so many people can't climb these ladders because it's just the amount of, you need to get all this money, or it's just very difficult. I'm not saying you can't climb the ladder, but I believe it's going to be so much easier to climb the ladder. And AI is that ladder that is right now, and hopefully it stays that way, is an enabler for people to, do the things they've always wanted to do and get out of the jobs that are just there because they have to.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So,
I mean, I've mentioned it multiple times, so I won't go into full detail of what I do for them, but I work for the government, and the government is the most slow to adapt to technology. And there's a lot of things that I do on a daily basis, or I watch other people do, my coworkers. And I think, we just could implement AI. There's things that happened way before AI that we could implement that would make things better. But if we could get that, like all of this would be in the taxpayer dollars that could be saved, for it. So it's just one of those things where it's amazing. And so I wish we need to get it pushed out more and faster. And I get this, there's got to be safeguards. You got to make sure you're doing everything correctly and stuff. But nonetheless, kind of keep going on to the point. We have been kind of watching from behind the scenes and cheering on Gamma. Gamma is something we highlighted before in the past. We are a huge advocate for, because you could see that it's just a small group, I think originally of maybe 12 or 15 people that are pushing this amazing product, something that we all want and to have, and it's getting even better. So I got a promo video I'm going to kind of pull up, so give me 1 second here, and hopefully it'll work. If it doesn't, we'll move someone, try something different.
Some exciting news to share this month, including announcements about the future of presentations and enhanced AI capabilities for cards, images, and charts. At Gamma, our goal is to make content creation feel effortless. To date, we have helped turn millions of ideas into reality. First, we are excited to announce our latest funding round, led by Excel. This brings us closer to our vision of reimagining presentations with AI. Now let's explore the new updates and features this month. AI card editing. Elevate your content with ease, one card at a time. You'll find new AI suggestions for editing your card, helping you in improving your writing, generating better images, and even proposing different layouts. AI image enhancements. AI images in Gamma are now more powerful than ever. You can generate images in a consistent visual style and access the newest models like DALL-E 3, Playground 2.5, and Google Imagen. Chart generation with AI. Adding charts to your presentations is now effortless. The next time you generate a new card with AI, simply request the type of chart and data you want to show. And our AI will create a chart pre-populated with data that you can replace with your own.
Mind-blowing.
Speaker notes generation. Preparing for your presentation just got easier. Our AI can suggest engaging talking points for you to wow your audience and add them as speaker notes, all based on the content of your cards.
It's we got a little bit more left of that video, but that is, compared to where we watched that last video of what they were advertising and showing that they had, you're seeing very similar to your site. You're seeing the next level, and they've pushed the envelope to that next spot. Yeah, so it's exciting to see.
This is way better than PowerPoint. It's unbelievable that, and that's so crazy. A group of around 10 people can create a product that's better than PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Right. And so this idea that all of, Microsoft can create all the products or whatever, I'm not saying they can't, it's good, but they have competition. It's so great because, before it's just really amazing. And I use that product for a bunch of PowerPoint, like presentation stuff.
Yeah.
And I was always horrible at PowerPoint. And when I found it, I was like, oh my gosh. And I was in a crunch at the time. And I was like, this is a gift from the universe, right? Because it like you give it the right content and it makes it like, they're not a sponsor or anything. Like I truly like just one thing I'm a little bit scared of is that now it's so easy to create PowerPoints and presentations. I'm like, we're gonna be inundated with presentations, right?
It's like
because
when PowerPoint
it's now
first came out, you know.
It doesn't take any talent
Yeah.
to make these.
But that's
But yeah,
okay.
it is
That's
cool.
the key is you want to make sure that if you are going to have to go sit through a presentation or sit through some type of sales pitch, you want it to be good quality. So I would much rather them all be really good than to have the typical, you know, that you can tell somebody's that doesn't have PowerPoint skills and they make this white background and it has like a paragraph per one and they're just reading from the PowerPoint slide. And you're like, wait, that's not what this is for. So I'm fine with this.
You're right. You know, visualization, like visuals are always better to have like in these. It's great.
Yeah.
A great product.
And what you were saying about a group of 10 people, 12, 15, whatever, it's a small group. It's because the reason why they're doing this and the reason why is because you had one good idea and then you had a team with that passion. And you and I've talked about that. Episode 1, you can go back and watch. It's how we start the whole thing off is when you put people together with the passion for the same thing, the sky's the limit. And you can see it in their promo videos and you can see it in their interactions with each other on LinkedIn and on other things, is you can see the passion that they have for the product that they're working for and them as a team.
Yeah.
So let's finish this video.
And most importantly, it saves you time. It works.
Let's see.
New social media embeds. For all content creators, we've made significant improvements to embeds this month. Drop TikTok and Instagram posts into your Gamma, and they will look amazing. You can even play videos within your file, making it easier to present and share content with others. That's all for now, but more is on the way. Send us your feature requests by clicking on the question mark icon.
I mean, again, you kind of add to it the social media part of it. That is huge for them because you're instantly integrating. I mean, that's where everything's at now. People don't watch cable TV. People don't watch, satellite or the old classic ways of doing it. It's with social media, and the fact that they've easily integrated their product within to use, TikTok and X and all the above. It makes your product easy to use and I want to be able to use it because it's the same with this. With what we're doing now, it's easy. I have a product. We have a product that we're recording this podcast with that I can easily pull in video clips. It makes me want to use it. And so, it's the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some new stuff I saw there I didn't know they had.
I like it. We're going to have to make a presentation with this of our presentation to put on Inquest AI.
Yeah, I would not be surprised very soon when you could just use chat and to create your first presentation. You export it to Gamma via custom GPT. It then says, "Hey, your initial slides are ready." You click on the link and then you go to Gamma, right?
Yeah.
That's why I believe everyone's going to build custom GPTs on ChatGPT, on Gemini, on Claude, because you could it's a lead generator too, right? You see this a lot with these GPTs. They say, okay, and also very soon probably you're going to see in line, possibly in the chat interface, some of these things. So yeah, at least that's kind of what I think, right? There's still a lot of unknowns, but it's cool stuff either way.
We had some we had a couple other things that was the 11 Labs update, but it's if you want to watch it, we can. If you don't, it's very quick. It's about their reader. I don't know if you know anything about it. Pay attention to it at all. Pretty interesting. It's like a 30-second thing. Let's just take a quick one.
Cool.
Maybe.
Another drop.
Ever find yourself distracted by your phone?
Oh. Just sent you over the link. Give it a read when you're done driving.
It's all good. I can listen to it now.
In financial news today, global markets continue to soar.
The world is large.
Ideas are the beginning points of all fortunes. Everything you need to know about mindfulness and living your life in a way that reflects.
An introduction to organic chemistry and bioengineering.
Then another drop fell. What is the use of a statue?
Today, United signed the young Brazilian.
A dash of lemon and 2 tablespoons of Greek honey.
News on the Californian coastline is.
Welcome to Computer Science for 101. Your gateway to the...
Now you can spend less time scrolling and more time listening to our high-quality AI voices. Your life narrated. Download the 11 Labs Reader app today.
The fact that they've got that, on Android and Apple now, watching where 11 Labs was a year ago, it was a very, new concept, and it wasn't to see the business model exploding the way it is, similar to Gamma. It's really cool to watch. AI
Yeah,
business.
and so I had seen that, and what I thought was interesting too is available via API. So if I wanted to, I could add that to my site, and if someone wanted to just listen to conversations, I could just plug that in so easily, which is a great developer tool as well, right? So they're showing the consumer end of it, but also as a developer, it's pretty amazing that I can integrate that in my site. I don't have to build all that technology. It just goes in, and then my users, I'd have to pay for it, but my users then can experience it all, right? So it's pretty cool. So definitely,
which opens
interesting
up
tool.
so many possibilities. Right now, just brainstorming some thoughts, but there's so many, because that's the key is we live in a world where we always want to have our phone in front of us, right? And so the further we can get away from, you already see a lot of people now walking down the street and they have their earphones in and they're listening to it that way. This just increases the need or the ability to do that with a variety of things, because you can just add the AI voice in, and then you can also choose one that you like. Let's say that you like your girlfriend's voice. You can, upload her voice into it, and then she can read all the text messages that she sends to you in her voice every time that she comes through. Stuff like that. It's just really cool.
Yeah. Yep. Mass personalization for low cost.
Love it.
Right. It's like the theme of what we've talked about. AI is enabling that.
So I know we got to come to an end because we've hit the hour mark. I don't know how we've done it. We've hit an hour and we have yet to bring up aliens. So we don't have an alien video, but it's something that's similar to that we're going to kind of end on. We always have to have our AI is going to take over the world stuff. So here's one video. It's real quick, and we'll go from there.
Over for humanity. This is a conversation between two AIs trained by Facebook to negotiate with each other, and while they might not seem like they're making sense, they're actually speaking an artificial language entirely constructed between themselves. Although the bots were trained on an English dataset, they obviously didn't actually speak English, so they ended up assigning their own meanings and grammatical rules to better understand each other in the negotiation. And in another experiment, researchers were able to get two AIs to create their own communication protocol using colors and shapes instead of words. They did this simply by asking the bots to speak to each other, and at that point they ended up making their own language without any further supervision. Now, we've already known that AI is better at encoding information than human language. For example, Google Translate works by turning sentences into more efficient strings of numbers that they then translate to the other language. But we're also rapidly approaching a reality where AIs can figure out how to communicate with each other in highly efficient ways that we don't even understand. It's often been compared to cryptophasia, the phenomenon where twins develop a secret language between themselves that only they can really understand. Only in this situation, the twins aren't twins, they're machines that are already way more intelligent than we are.
If they can start talking to each other in code and we don't know how to interpret it, where do you go from there?
You actually send me that link offline, because I want to see if there's some papers on that, because I definitely think that's all possible. I'm wondering in this case if these were hallucinations or if it was real. Obviously, it always did. Like, he did mention that the way that the models like encode the words is through numbers, right? And it goes into like this different anyway, and so they take every word and put it in a series of numbers, and it understands that language, right? And then it reinterprets those words, those numbers back out to us and gives us the words. So it would make sense that eventually they'd be able to do this, but I'm really curious if how they're verifying all of this.
So there is some I looked up that story. There is legitimacy to it. There's also been stuff. This is not the first one. We have, for example, we have this. Let me pull it up here. So here's a clip from Wired. This was from back in 2023, October of 2023, showing where they these things are starting to talk more to each other on that point. Hang on, there was another one that I had where they are developing, where they just start talking to each other in a code where it's not. I thought I had a video, and if I can't find it, we'll talk about it next time. But yeah, they're talking to each other back and forth, and they can't understand, but they're understanding each other because they're completing. I don't know if task necessarily, but it's really interesting concept.
But they're talking to each other in a different language. You're saying because
in a made-up language,
talking to each other
in their own. With that going back and forth, they started developing their own meanings for things, and then they would learn from the other one, would learn what the other one meant based off of what it was saying. So they understood the context of how they were saying things in completely different. I don't know. I know I'm saying it, but I don't know how to say it into words. But it's pretty
I'm just kind of curious how they're knowing, right? Like, how do you verify that they are? And then I'm sure there's ways to do it. Yeah. Anyway, there's our alien technology. Yep.
That's it.
There it is.
That's what it is. It's not even alien technology. It's the aliens using AI to talk to us. So,
hey,
I don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
We are in a different, according to a lot of the world, we're in a different timeline now after the Trump attempted assassination on that. There is now, they say that we jumped timelines. So I don't know. Maybe the aliens came in and put us in a different one. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. We always end with some crazy shit like
we can get crazy. I told you, you and I need to have a channel of just the crazy stuff. We'll have the AI Unscripted, and we'll just have crazy Unscripted, and we'll just go all the crazy rumors and conspiracies and the fun parts.
I don't know about that one.
Well, all I can say is that after having a nice I think it's been at least 3 or 4 weeks, I guess, since we've actually been able to get a full episode out, and we had some technical difficulty with one, but so it feels good to be back. I feel like we were out for summer vacation, school's back in session, and you didn't really, the preparation to get it going again, but then once you're there, you're like, man, I missed this. So
yeah, no, it's awesome. It's I'm glad that we're doing this. I know we're both really busy, so
yes,
appreciate all your help on putting it all together.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. So, well, we'll definitely be doing this again. I appreciate anybody that's listening to this now or in the future or whatever the scenario is. We greatly appreciate it joining us in what is now becoming our theme is joining our conversation, a conversation about a little bit of everything, but mostly AI as the focus. And we appreciate it, and we hope that you can continue on. Again, I promise he didn't pay me for this, and I'm not looking for him to pay me this, but maybe if he can put my song as one of the winners on his site. But hopefully you can join the conversation as well, not only in the comment section of whatever this video is posted on, but also on Inquest AI. And that way you can help build that community, which will help everybody. So any farewell words?
No, that's great. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
So looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. And so we'll hopefully get back onto this weekly routine and get it going and get them put out quickly and all the above. So, all right. Well, we definitely look forward to seeing everybody on the sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, now that we're back on this routine, we're just going to start seeing all this new AI stuff come out. We took a break right at the right time. And so now I'm ready for all the great AI new models to come out and we get access to the things that are already announced. So it's going to be exciting.
So really we didn't take the break. It wasn't us taking the break at the right time. They took a break from the news release because they knew that we were on a break. So
exactly,
that's exactly what it was. So
now we've green-lighted
that's right.
all of the fun projects to continue.
I love it. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody. Hope everybody has a great day, evening, night, whatever it is for you. And we'll see you next time.